So here's the spacer that they use in the Remedy and the Slash rear shocks, the RockShox shocks, that keeps coming loose and rattling around inside the shock. So I just got the shock back from warranty from SRAM. Now they said they had a solution for this problem. They've put a notch in the top of the shaft here, which is where the spacer and washers and O-ring are supposed to sit. It's supposed to sit right up the top there, nice and snug. But the O-ring is nowhere near strong enough to hold it up, so it comes loose, and then the metal washers and the spacer all rattle free up and down that shaft, and it's not ideal. So now they've glued the spacers to the washer, the washers to the spacer, and they've glued the O-ring to the bottom washer, and now it actually clicks in place really firmly up the top there over that notch. So it's definitely not going to move again. They've solved the problem, but they unfortunately didn't reassemble it right. So I've obviously pulled it apart, and I'm going to put it back together. So I've clipped it up to where it should be. It's quite a firm click when it pops into place, so it's going to be quite hard to get back out to change volume spacers. I've got this shock pretty well dialed. I've got 3 volume spacers in there. I feel like that's more or less the sweet spot, but I could do with a little bit more. Now I've just purchased a Nardog spacer, which RockShox make for these, which is actually it's the equivalent to 2.5 spacers, and it fits a little higher into the shock and takes up some space up higher in the shock where the other spacers don't reach. So it increases your maximum spacer to 4.5, or the equivalent to 4.5 normal size spacers. So I'd like to try the Nardog with 1 spacer, so that would equal 3.5 to give me a little bit more progression, but I'll see how we go with the 3, and if I have to pull this spacer back out, I'm going to have to maybe put some rubber around the top of this where the can threads in and lever it out with a couple of screwdrivers, because that is a super tight clip in. So that's the only downside to this solution. That will solve the problem. I've got no doubt that this is certainly not going to move again, but changing volume, reducing spaces is going to be a little tricky. So thanks SRAM, you've solved the problem, and yeah, we'll see how we go from here. If you've got a problem with your shock, definitely send it back. It's Trek Remedy or the Trek Slash 2018. If you're finding it rattly or anything, pull it off and give it a shake, see if it's rattling. If it is, send it back to them. Tell them that you've seen this done by them, by SRAM, and they should be able to fix it up for you.